This is your weekly celestial forecast for the week beginning July 17th, 2023. And on Monday, the 17th, we've got the new moon in Cancer. And Cancer, what is Cancer? Cancer is a water sign. It's the fourth house of home and family, protections, security, and it can also represent real estate and the physical home, anything to do with repairs and so forth. What else is Cancer? But Cancer is the homeland. It is connected with structure, and especially since this new moon starting off on Monday, the beginning of the week, is opposing Pluto, which is directly linked to structure. So you can bet that this week or weeks after the new moon, there's going to be positive or negative thoughts or discussions concerning our physical infrastructure. And structure also connected with what? With the collective, a breakdown or change in the way we live and the rules of society in general, especially with this opposition with powerhouse Pluto at the critical 29 degrees, which is connected with the powers that be, structure, and so on. And this starts right off on the week of July 17th, just before or just after. Discussions about protections, security, and yes, could there be conflicts within society, the masses, because there is this desperate need for change and to what? Break down the structures that can be physical and or emotional and within society. Yes, but because it is a new moon, this signifies a new beginning that can also lead to leadership beginnings and beginnings of new bills, new information that comes about now to make improvements within society, within structure. And that which will also be discussed is how can we protect our own, our home, and our family. So to kick off this week, these are going to be the topics of discussion. And please refer to my Cancer new moon video. And also, what else is Cancer? Cancer is about children and it's about youth. It's about pregnancy and all types of protection securities with the family. So look for these discussions, and who knows, you will be involved with many of those discussions regarding a change, a redoing of structure protections, the family, and maybe even working on your house a little bit, or that which is connected with what? Real estate, finance, and especially emphasized because we have a beautiful sextile earth and water with unique Uranus. So the economy, the stock market, anything and everything to do with protections, with our money, security, and all types. And this can be connected with new startups that deal with money, finance, financial institutions, and so on. Certainly, there's going to be a discussion about the revamping of banks, corporations, or just very unique styles of investing. But this is going to come to the forefront during this week, and especially with the new moon in Cancer. And we've got still Jupiter, the lucky planet, the planet of prosperity and good fortune and expansion in the sign of Jupiter. Now, this is not yet, but applying later on this year, a conjunction with unique Uranus. Nonetheless, with Jupiter in Taurus, our thoughts are all about this week's theme: investments, saving for the future, and anything regarding the building back of an economy, the restructure of banking, or anything to do with financial. And what else does the second house and Taurus connect with but food? Our values and our value systems will be very prominent now, especially with this meetup of the new moon in Cancer. Yes, indeed, what we value, and we will have to watch what we say because Uranus is connected in a sextile with the new moon in Cancer, so there could be some interesting and unique discussions and original creative ideas about finances, startups, banking, money of all kinds, and so on during this week and until the next full moon. And there is also a beautiful trine with Neptune this week, well, especially with the new moon and Neptune on Monday. And with the new moon, because it, like the full moon, kind of heightens the emotions, it heightens the interest or a problem or something that needs to be brought to the forefront with Neptune. And Neptune, remember, keep in mind, is connected now in Pisces with the 12th house. There's going to be discussions about what? What is Neptune? And especially retrograde. It's about water. It's about our waterways, cleanup, the environment, and storms. So in the coming week, there could be some pretty hefty storms or thoughts about concerns or maybe even cleanup with that which is connected with water, liquid, minerals, and so on. Also, what else is Neptune? Neptune, nebulous Neptune, is about secrets, and especially since Neptune is retrograde now, so we have to go back to the past to make corrections for the future. And this theme of the unknown or information that has to be brought out, we will have to go back to the past and bring up and bring out that which is, yes, secrets, or that which we need to get information on. And with this new moon in Cancer and in a sweet trine to nebulous Neptune, we will very likely get those answers in the coming weeks. Possibly even this week, but certainly until the next full moon. And Saturn is still retrograde in the sign of Pisces, but it is deposited by Neptune, also retrograde. So the theme of health, mental health, and especially starting off on the week on Monday, the opposition with Mars, the planet of action in Virgo. And with this opposition, there is definitely a need to what? To go back to the past, Saturn retrograde, and make reforms connected with health, wellness, healthcare, any institutions, hospitals, and the like, or anything connected with health and wellness will be brought about now. And that's pretty much for the gist of this week because Mars is in Virgo. And of course, we've got Venus, the planet of love, in the later degrees of Leo, and Mercury in Leo. So we really want to kind of show off this week, or at least for the next couple days, with Venus in loving Leo. And Leo is very proud. So there's a certain need to show our pride and show off a little bit with our creativity, with whatever we connect with communications, anything to do with beauty, fashion, the fifth house. And it's going to connect up with what? Children, because of this connection with the new moon in Cancer. So children's interests this week are going to, for the first couple days, also come to the forefront, and anything to do with vacations, pleasure, speculation of any kind, you name it. But our creativity is at its best, especially with Mercury and Venus both in the sign of Leo. Yes, and moving along, we then come to July the 17th to July the 18th. And let's see what we have in store here. Yes. And we're going to move ahead a day. Yes. And okay. Whoops. And we want to. Forgive me, we're going to move ahead here. Yes, a day. We're going to get this right today to July the 18th. And July 18th, we've got the moon now in Leo. Oh, yes. So it was one thing, we've got the later degrees of Venus, the planet of love and affection, in Leo and Mercury. And the moon is applying the conjunction with Mercury. So what is Leo? Leo is the fifth house. It's very creative. And also, Leo, keep in mind, is a fixed sign. And kind of like Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, very stubborn, even if very warm-hearted, very affectionate, and that which seeks attention. Yes, that is Leo. So we will have to be careful, especially Tuesday and Wednesday with this square off with Jupiter, the planet of expansion, that we don't exaggerate our abilities. We are kind of fighting for first place in conflicts or discussions. And if we can keep discussions to a minimal and watch out for any of these unexpected with Uranus the next day, conflicts, disputes, and the like, then we will have very lively and what? Expansive discussions about what? About our original ideas, business, you name it. It is a highly original aspect. And Jupiter, however, really likes to make a big deal out of things. So we have to watch for this square off, especially involving Mercury, the communicator, that we don't make big deals out of any of our discussions, because that, in fact, on Tuesday could create more problems. So we really have to tone down on our opinions and our insights and really open up and consider the other person's point of view. And if we can do that and not really get carried away with this Jupiter connection here with loud or very sudden opposition and so on, discussions could become heated. Well, if we keep things to a minimum, everything should be just fine, and we'll have just some slight lively banter. And as aforementioned, with this opposition between Mars and Saturn, all this week will be about mental health, the state of health, wellness, diet, maybe even something connected with the workplace, the everyday, the changing of work in general, and maybe that which is connected with our animal friends. So let's look ahead to the next day, which is the 19th. Yes, indeed. And now Mercury is meeting up with the moon. So we are feeling rather proud. It's the day we want to show off a little bit. But alas, remember we have the square off with Jupiter. So on Tuesday and Wednesday, we will have to just temper our need to be the best. And with Leo, with Taurus, it's kind of a competitive connection, especially because they are so fixed. So we really are feeling like we are in a competition, a game of like, who's number one? Who's got the best creative ideas on Wednesday? But keep in mind, as stated, the need to compete could be very, very difficult to quelch. So we're really going to have to maybe sit back a little bit and maybe for a time, even if brief, let somebody else take the lead, because this is what could create those conflicts. Yes, indeed. And we're going to move to the next day, which is on, yes, Thursday. Yes, indeed. And now Mars is applying, yes, the exact square off with retrograde Saturn. So mark Thursday on your calendar because of this exact aspect between Mars and Saturn. This could also bring midweek some of the frustrations to the fore, because what is Saturn? Saturn, even in Pisces, is about karma. And Saturn, especially in its retrograde stage, is about delays, frustrations, and hard work. So this is what we have to take away from this time. And next week, on the week of July 17th, we will be very focused this week on hard work and Mars. Mars is with Virgo, very kind of perfectionistic. So we are really mulling over the details this week. It's about hard work. And yes, we will meet some frustrations, very likely, especially during the reign of Saturn in Pisces. But take heed. With this opposition with Mars and picky, analytical, research-oriented Virgo, it's also about what? With Saturn, as mentioned, our karma. So if we work hard and we are very attentive to details, anything to do with organization, research, good health, really keeping up to snuff about the details, well then karma, Saturn, will reward us in the future for all that hard work, and especially once Saturn goes direct. Yes, so this week, and especially around Thursday, it's about keeping our nose to the grindstone. Work, work, work. And if you can overcome these frustrations now, you will be mightily rewarded. And the moon now on Thursday is void in Leo. So this is a time not to sign any contracts or anything important. However, it is meeting up with amorous Venus in Leo. Yes, so we are feeling just that on Thursday. Amongst the frustrations, we are feeling very warm-hearted and generous indeed. But now we have the square off to unexpected Uranus. So what is that? Expect the unexpected. But if you can really project your words and your unique style on Thursday in all ways, well, then there's some good that will come out of this very unique, unusual square off with Uranus. But also, what is the moon square Uranus? Well, Uranus with Taurus is connected with what? Our Earth. So on or around late Wednesday, Thursday, maybe early Friday, we can expect some possibilities with some earthquakes, volcanoes, natural disasters, weather-related anomalies, excuse the mispronunciation, and the like. So let's look ahead to the next day forward, which is, yes, it is officially the weekend and it is the 21st. And keep in mind, we have yet still Pluto, the powerhouse, at 29 degrees retrograde. And soon, by Sunday, certainly the moon will then be trining Pluto. But that's in a day and a half to 2 days. But we have the moon now with picky Mars. So on Thursday and Friday especially, it's all about getting it together, hard work, organizations, and maybe planning for our next meeting. It's all about work, work, work. Is our work good enough? Is our health up to snuff? It's about getting organized and really getting some of those health care visits scheduled, checking up our hygiene and all forms of health. Also, what is Virgo and the sixth house? It's about, yes, again, it is about the mundane, every day, the workforce. And so this also will be a topic of discussion. Jobs, changing jobs, the job market, and so on. And again, that theme with possibilities with animals, or our animal pets will become the forefront on Friday. Yes, and now the sun is in the later degrees of Cancer and soon to go to the sign of Leo. And we're going to go for today to Saturday. And Saturday is the 22nd. And yes, we are now at the 29th critical degree of Cancer opposing the powerhouse of Pluto. And either on Saturday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, or very early the following week, there's going to be concerns or topic of discussion regarding, as always with Pluto, the powers that be. And what else? Yes, as aforementioned earlier in the week, structure. But now with this exact opposition and both at the critical degrees, yes, there could be, especially with Pluto, some upheaval regarding government. Yes, again, the powers that be and anything connected with the masses, making informed changes or breakdown about how we live, security, protections, family, home, and so on. And because this is an exact opposition on Saturday, yes, do look to some, well, rather tense discussions or some point of views that may be opposed as far as the fourth house by 10th house. Career, those in power, and anything to do with structure against that which is representative of security. For whatever reason, we may need to have discussions regarding our protections and our securities now. And there is a very wide sextile with Uranus, so always any connections with Uranus, even with the sextile here with Earth, water, always expect the unexpected. Yes, indeed. However, there is this beautiful trine yet pretty much this week with Neptune, but keep in mind Neptune is retrograde, and because it's within 2 degrees on Saturday of the trine with very water Cancer, yes, this is all about the environment. It's about water, oceans, and that other theme of secrets coming out to the forefront now over this weekend and possibly into the next week. Are we getting the answers that we seek? Are we going to make changes? And changes to what? Our protections, our security, anything to do with children's interests, home, family, and the like. And these are the questions and topics of this week's conversation. And finally, we're going to head on to the final day, which is Sunday. Yes, on the 23rd. And now we've got Leo sun at 0 degrees critical. Yes, still making that now the out of sign opposition to powerhouse Pluto. So on Saturday and Sunday, this opposition still remains, and for whatever reason, we are going to be stepping up to plate with anything to do with feeling the need for security and protection. Yes, and now officially Venus, the planet of love, is now retrograde at 28 degrees station retrograde in Leo. So now Venus is going to flip back and it will then conjoin, and it is even on Sunday, a wide conjunction with Mercury, the communicator. So what is again Venus but the planet of love and affection? So now with retrograde, now another planet yet retrograde, we will have to be very cautious of what? Mix-ups with communication, with love, with romance, affection, and one thing that Venus has a wonderful connection with because it is retrograde is what? With the past. So information or issues regarding going back to the past and having to straighten out issues with love and affection from the past will be very pertinent now. And this could be good because sometimes with Venus there, this is a very purging, very cleansing aspect. So although Venus is in its retrograde stage, yes, this can create mix-ups with love and our approach to love, and we will have to watch for misunderstandings because this is retrograde, so we may not be exactly misunderstood, or I should say understood, but misunderstood for our approach to love. However, if we can get through this, go back to the past and make corrections on that which needs to be corrected, well, then this is a very positive aspect with Venus in the sign of Leo. But do keep in mind now, there is what is called a quincunx or an inconjunct, which is somewhat of a minor and yet irritating influence with the powers that be, Pluto. So there could be some power plays within our relationships, and this also could create misunderstanding or seep in some negativity to our relationships. If we can get past some of these annoyances during the reign of Venus retrograde and really apply some understanding here, even with warm hearted Venus in Leo, well, then the time of Venus retrograde will fly by very quickly. Yes. And there is an applying because keep in mind now, Venus is retrograde, applying square off to Uranus. So with Venus there, especially in the showy, attention-oriented sign of Leo, we may have some odd ideas about that word again, our creativity and our originality. Also, some very odd ideas about romance, intimacy, and the like. And also, guess what? During this time of Venus in the sign of Leo, there's going to be discussions about what? All forms of intimacy, sexuality, and anything which Uranus and Venus favors with the odd and the unusual, and that could deal with the arts, the performing arts. We suddenly have an appreciation for that, which is, well, a little bit offbeat and unusual. But hey, this can be just too good for our individual sense of expression. Yes, indeed. So, this week, it's all about our creativity. It's all about, especially starting off with the new moon on Monday, all about taking action about family, security, protections, children's interests, and anything to do with our money. Later on this week, it will be, especially midweek, discussions about mental health and our work, and organization, research, and anything to do with water, cleanup, and that other Neptune connection with the 12th house, bringing out those secrets. Yes, indeed. And with the Leo connection, it's all about expressing our unique style in words, fashion, the arts, you name it. And money. That's going to be a big topic of this week, investing, the economy, and that which deals with structure. And the good news is about all this, especially with this Leo connection during the late week, is really to not become too fixed and in oppositions with each other, but it's about warmth and affection. So until the next weekly celestial forecast, many, many blessings.
If you'd like to get in touch with me, my contact information is down below. I give one-on-one readings and written reports. Please subscribe to this channel and press the bell notification. Until next time, many, many blessings.